Can I tell y'all what's on my mind?
Message especially for
Can I get a couple of things off my chest?
for you. I wrote this message especially for you. Wise up, wise up. It's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but it can't be your son. It's your kinfolk. William Jewell, giving you my details as I'm articulating. This is articulating rap. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn the notifications on so you can get all the new content when I post it. Right? You know, those clips I'm giving y'all. Man, hey, keep it up, man. Keep running up those views. And look, it might not seem like a lot, but I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. Right? Let's get to 100 subscribers. I'm almost been doing this for a full year. If you paying attention, share it with somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. Right? And let's get to 100 because, you know, I think people will be entertained. I think people will kind of like how I'm breaking it down. I feel like people will get a little bit more understanding of certain things. Because we ain't really trying to gossip. We ain't really just trying to talk about no mess. We really just trying to talk about rap. We really just trying to talk about hip hop. Right? And we trying to just do our research, be scientific with it. You know, really think different than, you know, most people that are consuming the music, and really just give you a detailed analysis of the music, of the reviews, and just, you know, my thoughts, my opinions. And that's what it is at the end of the day. My thoughts, my opinions. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But it's going to be okay, I believe so, huh? Yes. And I believe that the NFL is liking hip hop. I believe the NFL is liking their deal with Jay-Z and Rock Nation because he's re-signed with them. Jay-Z has re-signed a deal with the NFL to continue to pick the Super Bowl halftime performers. He's going to continue his partnership, right? And the details haven't yet to be announced, but we can talk about the confidence that the NFL has in Jay-Z. We can talk about the confidence that Jay-Z has in his ability to choose the artists. And he's made all the right decisions. Why would this Super Bowl be any different? I love Wayne, and I really can't argue about Wayne not being the Super Bowl performer at New Orleans. I can't argue it. He has the hits, he has the songs. I can't argue it, but when we talk about the performance and when we talk about his history, his resume behind the scenes, then we got to call a couple things into question. Right? And that's what it boils down to. Does he work well with others? Will he hit the mark? Will he give us the performance, or will it be lackluster? And to be honest, that's really the whole debate, the argument when it comes to Wayne, because we know he has the ability, right? We know he has the music. We know he has the talent. He has all that. But he's looking at the words to his music on a screen. He don't even know the words to his music. Like, and he's done so much music, it's hard to keep up with. But you're doing yourself a disservice. You're not honing your craft. You're not really taking your craft seriously if you can't even remember the words to some of your biggest songs. Like, that's disrespectful to the game. That's disrespectful to the stage. That's disrespectful for the fans because you're not giving it your all. Because if you did, you would rememberize it so you could really perform and give the people an out-of-body experience. But the people's spirit is still in their body yet to be released. right? And man, shout out Jay-Z, right? Because it really boils down to, what took place after the Kaepernick situation. And pretty much he got the NFL and got the black community to kind of move on from that, situation. And at the end of the day, does Jay-Z, black man, billionaire, rapper, does he justify, them moving on from Kaepernick? Does he justify, like, what the NFL has done to to support our people, right? To show love to our people and show love to the cause. Does he justify it? No. I don't think him being a part of that Super Bowl performance can really make everything make sense, can make everything peaches and cream with the NFL, but at the same time, right, it's a start. Right? At the same time, it's our foot in the door. At the same time, Jay-Z could end up owning a team because of this partnership. So at the same time, we really gotta just, be okay with the baby steps. We gotta be okay with crawling before we walk. We gotta be okay with that. And if you're not okay with that, I understand. Shit. We been free for a long time, right? And things are not the same, but the same way if we doing some things, we might not let outsiders in. We'll always keep these outsiders as guests, right? In hip hop. So, when a white conglomerate has their ownership in certain things, they might want to keep us as guests. And so, of course, we're the downtrodden. Of course, we're the people who have been, mistreated, for centuries. But at the end of the day, we don't have the power to control that, right? But if we getting a little bit at a time, I can appreciate just a little bit. I can appreciate the crumbs until we can get the whole plate. So if you don't appreciate that, if you don't like it, I get it. But that's just my synopsis when it comes down to that situation. And then, Absol. I wrote this message especially for you. Like, I'm really enthused about him dropping because I really liked Herbert. I thought Herbert was a great album. Herbert really made me a fan of Absol. I've heard Absol and TDE. I've heard him rap. I know he was skillful. I know he was lyrical, but Herbert, that body of work made me become a true fan of Absol because not only did he give you the lyricism, but he really spoke to, you know, the man inside of you. He spoke to the human inside of you. He spoke to some of the pain, some of the progression, some of the purpose, some of the passion. He spoke to a lot of things that we held dear within our heart. Do better, Moonwalker, message in a bottle. He spoke to a lot of those things, and he really resonated with me. And once you can tug on my heartstrings, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'll forever listen to a tune of yours. So Ab Soul, he's dropped 2 singles. DJ Head said he got a slap. I like all that. I like that single. I like the single that he dropped before that. I like what he's doing in the freestyles on Funk Flex. They said he was talking about J. Cole. They said you forfeiting the war. All right, they say he talking about Cole. But I don't think it matters if he's talking about Cole because I don't think Cole would even try to approach him. I don't think Cole would even really, you know what I'm saying, fire back because he likes to keep the peace. Right? He don't want to be in something that's gonna mess up his energy. He don't want to be in the industry games, although he's played them himself. And one thing about Cole, we know that the C in Cole stands for contradicting, right? because he stays contradicting. But Ab-Soul, I'm ready for Soul Burger. Right, I'm ready for this album. I want to see what you have to say. I want to see like what messages that you can give us that we can take with us. I want to see what pictures that you want to paint, and can we see them clearly? Are they vivid enough for us to really put ourselves in that situation and act in a desired manner? Like Ab-Soul, like I feel like you can continue to elevate that TDE platform. You can continue to booster that platform. Schoolboy Q, he's done it. Ab-Soul is next. I'm ready for J Rock. Remember, it's October. It's October 20th. Remember, they had put a list out and said all these people was gonna drop, but the only person that dropped was Schoolboy Q. Right? Doechii gave us something too. Right? Ab-Soul's next. Kendrick, he's not TDE, but Kendrick, he did the battle, so I think that kind of messed up everything. And not messed up everything, I think that kind of made things shift a little bit when it comes for the TDE release dates. That shifted a lot of release dates in hip hop because people are begging, people are thirsty for any type of conversation about this beef. People are wanting to hear about a new album from Kendrick, wanting to see if he's going to talk about Drake, wanting to see if he's going to address Cole, apologize, and then double back, giving him a backhanded compliment on Port Antonio. People want to see if Kendrick's going to say something about Modo Capone, right? Because Drake is rapping in Espanol. ¿Comprende? ¿Qué pasó, mi amigo? Drake. And really my theory on this is that Drake is pretty much trolling the hip hop fan base. Right? Because we got to think about it. He gave us No Face, which was more of a hip hop song. He gave us the circadian rhythm, the language too. He gave us the song with 21 Savage and Young Thug, which we was already know, like that was done a while ago. Blue, green, red, housekeeping those, right? So, but when you really think about hip hop and solo Drake, he only gave us a couple of songs after the beef and the 100 gigs. And what he's been doing, the Camila Cabella, what he's been doing with the other DJ, that the house music, what he's doing with this right here, he's pretty much trolling hip hop. Right? He's gonna do a feature with different artists outside of hip hop. He's not gonna bless the hip hop game with his music. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he's doing these things to be like, okay, well, y'all said I'm not hip hop. Well, let me get over here. Let me get over there. Y'all said I'm doing different accents. Let me get over here. Let me get over there. Right? He did the Sexy Red, You My Everything. Right? He did a couple things, but I feel like he's trying to make a point to really get outside that box and show people like, okay, if y'all don't want me to be in hip hop, if I'm not, if I'm a guest in hip hop, then I'll act like a guest. And that's kind of what I took from this song, because this song sounded weird. Like him rapping just sounded weird. Him rapping just sounded fake. It didn't sound authentic. Didn't sound like he was into the music. Didn't sound like he was speaking from the heart. Just sound like he tried to get a cool 16 off in Spanish. Right? Even gave us a clip, gave us a video in the bar with a cowboy hat on from in Texas. You know what I'm saying? Speaking Spanish. And it sounded like his Spanish was good. It sounded like he was speaking fluently. But just on that song, it sounded like that was borrowed. It don't sound like he created that himself. And I wonder what was the point of even doing that. I wonder, like, that just, it's kind of like that What Going On Delilah. That's what that song represented for me. Right? Just in the Spanish nature. And I just feel like damn, I don't like how he did the Latin artists, right? Yes, he gave them a feature, but I feel like he gave them a facade as well, right? He didn't really give it what they needed for that song to really be elevated. He just showed himself. He just showcased a little bit, and then that was it. So no, I don't really like that song. Do I listen to Spanish music? No. So for me to really like judge that song, I don't. I think it's outside of my wheelhouse. But here we go again. Drake is trolling the hip hop community. Drake is not being serious with his music. Drake does not want to rap. He wants to continue to stay outside that box. And then sometimes when people wonder, are you hip hop or are you pop or what are you? Why are you considered hip hop? Why do we have to put you alongside these Kendricks and these Coles? Because they never did no pop shit. They never rapped in no Spanish. They never tried to cater to other cultures. Right, and they still did global things and they still did international things by keeping it pure hip hop. If you're not keeping it pure hip hop and you're existing in all these other realms, how can we see you as a hip hop artist? And to be honest, that's a disservice to you to be putting Drake in a box as a hip hop artist, something like Tommy Richmond. He didn't want to be called a hip hop artist. He just wanted to be an artist. Drake is just an artist. Drake is just another Tommy Richmond. Right? And at least by the way he's trolling. Right? Because why do this? I don't think I've ever heard Drake rap Spanish. And, the time I've been listening to him. So this is weird. This is odd. Why now? That's my question. Right? And you saw the Young Thug tweet. Future, Metro, Drake. Man, the music ain't the same no more without us collabing. Future retweeted it. Like, you see it. Like, music, it's better. Because at the end of the day, Young Thug, we appreciate him for his art. And then a friend brought this up to me. Like, what classic albums does Young Thug really have? You know what I'm saying? Like, he has some, I think it's So Much Fun. Right? He has an album I like. I think that could be considered a classic album for him. He has classic songs. Right? But Young Thug, to be considered a great in his era, in his genre, in his lane, right? Honestly, besides those songs, what body of work has he really just given us, to be considered on that pedestal? We know what Future has done, 11 number ones. We know what Future can do. We know what Metro can do. We know what Drake can do. But I don't think Drake and Young Thug was making great music. I think Future and Drake made great music. But same thing with Cole giving us Port Antonio, giving these backhanded compliments, making these apologies, trying to motivate Drake when really, bro, like, you step down. How can you tell another man what he needs to do when that was the same advice that you should have taken? Use your magic pen. You didn't want to use your magic pen. You used your magic eraser and deleted 7-minute drill off mic, delete later. Like, all these niggas be on that bullshit. All these niggas don't live up to their word. All these niggas is hypocrites, bro. Like, goddamn. Like, just look at that shit, Drake. Just look at that shit, Cole. And the thing about Kendrick, he ain't consistent with feeding us. Like, he's just, like, he wants to be seen as so mysterious. He wants to be seen that way so much that he takes away his impact. He takes away his message. He takes away, like, what he could really give us. Right? And I get it. he said it on Mr. Morale. You know, he's not your savior. Kendrick can't save us. Braun gave him your flowers, but he is not your savior. He is not your savior. Cole made you feel empowered, but he is not your savior. He is not your savior. Like, we get it. And that's the knock on Kendrick too, because he always delivering a message to the people, but to carry that message out, he becomes absent. And I'm not saying he need to be on the front line with his activism shit. I'm just saying, like, you need to be more present, you know, in delivering that message, so that message can really seep through the cracks and crevices of this culture, right? With the artists that you put on, with the music that you make. You know what I'm saying? With the products, with the and I know what you're doing. I see what he's doing with the Cash App. I see what he's doing, giving Doechii that praise. I see what Kendrick is doing. It's hard to hate on Kendrick. But damn, if I want to be unbiased, I got to say some things. And you know what I'm saying? That's just what I got to say. But like that tweet from Young Thug, at the end of the day, bro, like, say that shit. Because you should have said that shit when they did We Don't Trust You. But the fact that you let all that shit go on and you want to say some shit now, it just seems like there's some type of motive, right? There's some type of reasoning why you're putting it out now, right? And the fact that Future retweeted it, man, me and Future, me and Pluto never been through it. Drake said it, you know, and there was always gonna be a way for them to rekindle that friendship or that ability to collab, because Drake didn't really go after Future like that. And Future didn't really go after Drake. They just made a concept album and they kind of put Drake out there. But at the end of the day, like, they really didn't say nothing about him badly. Right? Future, he just said, quit pillow talking. You was my number one fan, dog. Like, he really didn't say nothing. And the fact that Drake didn't really kill him, especially on Family Matters, and he killed everybody else, right? It says that he's willing to rekindle their relationship. So, I mean, I get it. All's well that ends well. Right? And I was looking at this Dr. Dre interview. Dr. Dre did an interview with Stephen A. Smith. Him and Snoop Dogg sat down. And he just said he doesn't like when artists use 9 different producers on their album. And Dr. Dre, he's always been the curator of perfection when it comes to hip hop. He's always been a perfectionist when it comes to recording, when it comes to engineering, when it comes to the certain sounds. When you talk to a lot of these artists, they say Dr. Dre will make them do their verse, say certain words over and over again till they get it right. And that's one thing that like Dre, we know how meticulous he is, how tedious he is with his work. And when it boils down to it, when we think about, and 9 is just more of an exaggeration. But I feel like 2 or 3, right? A team of producers that has one, you know, goal in mind, one collective idea on how we want this album to sound, what type of slaps, what type of, you know what I'm saying, light, what type of darkness we want to give, what type of cohesiveness we want to give throughout this album, throughout the interludes, throughout the intros, outros, the ins and outs of each song. Like, I think that is dope. That's a dope concept in itself. And having those producers that you can really trust with your sound, that's really going to elevate your sound. We see what Common did with Peak Rock, right? I mean, shit, we just seen Benny the Butcher and 38 Special stabbed and shot too with Harry Fraud, right? We seen what Freddie Gibbs did with Madlib. We seen what Freddie Gibbs did with Alchemist, right? We seen what Nas did with Hit Boy, Right, we seen all these things, and why would you go astray if we know this is a type of concept? This is something that's proven to work, especially when it comes to giving us bodies of work. Working with that one producer, we see what Jay Z did with No ID on 444. Right, we see these things. Like, even when it comes to Kendrick Lamar on To Pimp a Butterfly, that sound was consistent. Terrace Martin, that sound, that cohesiveness was consistent throughout the whole album. And it really makes that body of work fit in that one texture, right? Instead of different like art pieces hanging in front of the right, hanging in front of the display, let's get one big canvas, right? You know what I'm saying? And make it more manageable to consume. So I believe Dr. Dre was right. I believe like that's something that everybody should adhere to in hip hop. That's something that's always worked. Anytime a rapper gets with one producer and he gives you a full body of work with that similar sound, and it gives you that sound throughout the project, it just sounds a whole lot better. It's easier to listen to, it's more digestible. It sets you up for success. Right? A whole bunch of producers, opposing, clashing sounds, sometimes that could set you up for failure if you're gonna listen to the album from beginning to end. So that's just my point of view. Uh, Let me see if we got some more things to talk about. And it's crazy. I was talking to a partner of mine. I'm gonna leave at this because I see that Durk is getting, you know what I'm saying, getting ready to drop another album. Uh, I was talking to a friend and we was just talking about Gunna and Durk, and him all alone. Gunna just released a song and Durk released a song, Opportunist. And I was just speaking about how when I listen to guys that do a lot of melodic rap, Gunna and Durk are the ones for me. And I was saying Durk is just as good as Gunna, and they was like, hell no, Durk can't touch Gunna. And when they broke it down to me about the hits that Gunna really has versus the hits that Durk has, I mean, Gunna, like, to bounce back with Bread and Butter, to bounce back with Fuck You Mean, to bounce back with Today I Did Good, to bounce back with this last album, those last two albums, like, they was saying, bro, like, what has Dirk done, like, that could touch one of those albums? I was like 722 They was like, no, no. So I just offer that question. I offer that question for y'all, like, listening in, what y'all think about Dirk and Gunna, like, and don't go to the snitch and rat allegations. We just talking about music, and maybe that's a part on how you consume music. If you such a G, you such a stand-up guy, I get it. You're a gangster, but you can't whoop me. But so I do think Gunna melodically, I think he's taking it to a different level. He's going to a different notch, and I think the pain that he went through, the betrayal, the trials and tribulation that he went through, just brought it out of him. And now that it's out of him, it's kind of like hard to go back. He knows what type of, emotion to tap into to go there, and he puts it in the music. He puts it in his songs, and you can hear it. Even if it's a vibe, you just can hear his energy. You can hear his passion. With Dirk, like Dirk, he still caters to the drill. And that's the issue with Dirk and Gunna, cause Gunna gonna give you the feel good music. He ain't gonna drill too much. He ain't gonna cry too much. He ain't gonna give you too much emo. Like, Dirk is a little bit more emo. Dirk is drill, and Dirk, he just hasn't captured that vibe type of music with his vocals. And the thing is, he's great with auto tune, but the vibe is what's going to sell the most. The vibe is what's going to really get everything cracking. I think he still failed to reach the ability to capture that vibe, and that's something that Gunna has mastered. And we know if you mastered the vibe, you've mastered the audience in this era. So, man, just think about that. Durk Gunna. I wonder how y'all feel about those guys. I feel like those guys are good comparison. They did collab with each other. They did do music together in the past, and it was good music. Gucci Gucci, Homebody, like they did good music together. I wish they could collab again. But we know Durk, he has to live up to this street code, and you know it'll be against his brand to really work with Gunna. But I feel like he could take a hint, or not even a hint, but he could, learn something from Gunna and listening to his music. So shout out those boys. Shout out Jay-Z with the new deal. Shout out Modo Capone, Drake. You know what I'm saying? Big three vibes. Ab Soul Burger. This your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son as your kinfolk. William Jewell. Well, giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating. Rap, rap, rap.